Vietnam, once a hidden gem on the tourist map, is now shining in a new light. More than just a destination to explore, Vietnam is fast becoming a place to belong. In 2024 alone, over 12,000 foreigners made the bold move to call this country home. Among them, more than 65% settled in Ho Chi Minh City, Southeast Asia's rising startup capital, drawn by its dynamism and spirit of innovation. From young professionals to growing families, many are choosing Vietnam not just to live, but to thrive. With international schools, safe neighborhoods, and a lifestyle that blends tradition with modernity. Vietnam, not just a place to visit, a place to live, to grow, to begin again.
Hello and welcome to Talk Vietnam. In today's episode, we will explore how Vietnam is gradually becoming a destination ideal for our international friends to come and realize their dreams and ambitions. And in today's episode, we will have the opportunities to talk to three guests who are making their dreams come true. And first up, we have Guillaume Rondan, the founder of Move to Asia, who has come here for nearly a decade, helping a lot of expats and foreigners and even families coming over to Vietnam to build their dreams. Thank you so much for coming here today.
Thank you for being here.
And then we have Camille Delori. Even though only been staying in Vietnam for 2 years, she has opened restaurants, cafes, bars, and we will explore how the Ho Chi Minh City charms has captured her and allow her to make the decision. Thank you so much for coming over.
Of course, thank you for having me.
And finally, we have Alexandre de Carters, whose vision is to come to Vietnam to build a sustainable food production factory. And let's see how that dream come true through his conversation today. It's a pleasure to have you as well.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Very happy to be here.
And so let's begin with the first questions. I want you all to recount your first experience coming over to Vietnam. Let's start with you first, Guillaume. How did you decide to come over to Vietnam and what were your initial reactions?
So I think I started here it was just at the beginning a trip. So I came to Vietnam, I crossed Vietnam from the south to the north, renting on a motorbike. So it was not initially my purpose to come here and settle down. And finally, after a couple of weeks here, I realized that there were more things to probably explore. And then I start to settle down here, rent my own apartment. And finally, months after months, it's been an 8-year journey now. So still happy to be here.
What initially captures your interest that pushed the decision?
So I think it can be a couple of reasons. The first thing is that when you come here as a tourist, you discover that Vietnam is totally different from what you see in the West. I come from a 6,000 small town in south of France, and coming here to a 10 million plus megalopolis, you feel that it's something that is totally outside of what you used to know. So that first moment captured my interest. And of course, months after months, years after years, I discover more things, get more rooted to the culture, meet new people, and then after, it's something that finally lets you stay here.
Oh, what about you, Camille? You have spent a lot of time traveling around Europe and coming over to Vietnam. What were some of the differences that you find most interesting?
So I was born in the UK, but I'm originally Belgian and worked in London in finance. And at one point, I wanted novelty. Cultural novelty, just fresh air, something new. And we didn't really know where. So my fiance and I, he was my boyfriend at the time, we didn't really know where, and then we started traveling. We left our jobs. He hadn't left his yet, I had left mine. And we came to Vietnam, similar as Guillaume, just as a trip. And very quick, we landed in Hanoi. And at that moment, in the first night out, we said, this is it. Wow. It ticks all of the boxes in terms of safety, food, culture, the kindness of the Vietnamese people. You feel immediately very welcomed. So we went back to Europe after the trip, told our families we're moving to Vietnam. Wow. Half of them believed us. They were like, yeah, you just came back from your holiday. And then 3 months later, we moved here. Wow. With nothing, no friends, no job, just you arrived.
And I don't think it stays as unemployed for long because you have now, along with your fiance, opened a business here.
Yes.
Would you care to elaborate?
Of course. Well, we actually started it 3 weeks after arriving. Wow. So we were on that novelty high of a new city, new country, and we found an exceptional house by the river in Taodien, and we saw huge potential. So it was a furniture store when we first saw it, but completely run down. There was a lot of work to do. And we could imagine parties, just vibes. So we emailed Guillaume actually, because we found somewhere, we want to create a business, we have no idea how to get started. And then with Guillaume and Move to Asia's help, and Ashley, Guillaume's wife, we set up a company and we opened a restaurant, Satsuma House.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun. It's been over a year now, so we had a couple months renovation, and we have a lot of fun. So there's a cafe inside, you walk in, there's a cafe. And then outside there's a huge restaurant by the river with a pool, there's the bar, landmark view. So it's all, when customers walking and they say, wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
It warms your heart.
It warms my heart, it really does.
So after 1 year, how is the business running?
Good. So because the house is quite big, we do a lot of private events. So we've had a couple of Vietnamese celebrities. We've had Tin Sui. 1 month after we opened the restaurant, he did his album launch. Twimi. For her album Shimmer, we did album launch for her there. Wow. Dat Maniac, the rapper.
Yes.
So yeah, all these. I mean, we're so lucky because all these celebrities, we're so very honoured to have had them at the restaurant for events. But yeah, it's going great.
Now, in contrast to Guillaume and Camille here, Alex, you're coming over to Vietnam with a very specific purpose, which is to start a business. Would you care to elaborate on that?
I came here for real business purpose. So how it basically started is at university. So I'm also originally from Belgium. I studied in university in Belgium, and at that time, with a friend, now co-founder of our company, Entabel, we were looking at the big problems that the world was going to face. One of them was protein shortage. So the population is growing. We're going to be almost 10 billion by 2050. So we need more sustainable proteins to feed a growing population. And then we discovered insect. Insect is an amazing resource. It's very sustainable. You can produce in massive quantities. But Europe is not the right place to produce insects. What you need is a tropical environment. You need heat, you need sunlight all year round, you need humidity, and you also need a big market. So for us, Vietnam was like a perfect choice. At that time already, 12 years ago, when we made the decision, Vietnam was already one of the fastest growing countries in the world with a huge agriculture industry. So we decided to go Vietnam just after graduation. I think it was about a month after graduation. We took a one-way flight ticket straight to Vietnam and started farming insects in the countryside, so in the Mekong Delta. So our family thought we were crazy back then, because when you study finance and then you decide to go farm insects in Vietnam, it's a little bit weird. But in the end,
I would say quite unconventional.
Unconventional. I agree with you. But in the end, we managed to gradually increase our production capacity, automate our process, and now finally we have a proper factory producing insect protein here in Vietnam.
That's amazing, and obviously congratulations on your business, but my question is, have you finally convinced your family that this is a justified decision? Have they believed in you yet?
Yes, after quite some years, in the end they are convinced that it was the right decision. They came to visit me a couple of times, and they also understand why I'm staying here for that long.
According to the Expat Insider 2024 survey, which gathered responses from over 12,500 expats in 174 countries and territories, Vietnam ranks #1 globally for affordable living, with 86% of respondents saying the cost of living here is very reasonable. What's more, over 2/3 of expats in Vietnam say their income is more than enough for a comfortable life, a figure much higher than in many other countries. Vietnam is also where many people find a true work-life balance. 73% of expats say they are happy with the relaxed, low-stress pace of life. The country ranks 8th globally in the Work and Leisure Index, a place where you can grow your career and still enjoy life every day. Low costs, good income, and a calm lifestyle. That's why more and more people are choosing Vietnam to live, work, retire, or start a new chapter.
So compared to other Asian countries, what do you think are some of the unique selling points of Vietnam as a destination to stay for foreigners as an individual, first and foremost?
So as an individual, as Camille touched it earlier, I think the culture is very special here. If you come to Thailand, you may have some special vibe. Indonesia is the same, but Vietnam is also truly special. So that can be the first aspect. Then related to the food, this is the same. I think Vietnamese food has one of the most diverse cuisine in the world. And to be honest, when I leave Vietnam for a couple of weeks, I actually miss Vietnamese food.
Me too.
And if I go to Thailand after a week, I'm done with Thai food. You know, so the comparison sometimes may be strange from Vietnamese, but actually, as soon as you start to get to know the local food, the local cuisine, the local tastes, you feel after a while that you can miss it. And because it's so rich, it's so diverse, even within Vietnam, you can keep re-exploring the same dish from different regions. You know, a pho from the north will be totally different from central Vietnam, from the south. So it makes it always interesting. So as a long-term expat, and also we can be considered as immigrant here, right? We feel that we are always in that environment where every week we have something new. And that can help us to, you know, be always optimistic and seeing also the population here with the smile, with that optimism. I think it can also be something that make people last long and then stay here and finally get
reinforce the decision to come here, essentially. And so, Camille, I see you're nodding very emphatically to some of the points that was made by Guillaume. Do you feel the same way towards some of Guillaume's point of view?
100%. During Tet, we closed Satsuma House for about 10 days. So we went to the Philippines. After 2 days, I was dreaming of the Vietnamese food. And
like manifestingly.
Manifesting. No offense to Filipino food, I mean it's great. But when we came back here, we ran to our local street food. We had the banh con. Do I say it right?
Yes,
banh con.
perfectly.
And yeah, I mean it's crazy. You managed to get our hearts through our palates because it is a very strong factor. It's true.
Yeah. What about you, Alexandre? You feel like some of the business point proposed by Guillaume resonated with your experience at all?
Yeah, it resonates a lot. The ease of doing business in Vietnam is also one of the factors that attracted us. For example, yeah, as mentioned, you don't need for many kind of businesses to have a local partner, which is not the case for other countries. So this already facilitates a lot the procedure. Even for us in the manufacturing field, that can be a little bit more challenging to obtain your licenses, your permits. We were not requested to have any local partner. So I think that was that's really a great advantage of Vietnam. So Vietnam, in terms of doing business, I think this ranks quite high within the region. You still, of course, have Singapore, like really like masterclass in the space, but Vietnam, I think, is really doing well in terms of ease of doing business.
Yeah, right. I really want to elaborate on the fact that you are the first company in Vietnam to work on the field that you're doing, which is producing insects, especially as a food source. Do you think that having a business with that profile, it's beneficial in the terms that you identify a gap of investment here in Vietnam, or do you think it serves a little bit of a difficulties? Is it more beneficial or difficult to identify, to have that, have that like gap of like no one has done it before?
At the beginning, it's a challenge for sure. It's a big challenge because you have to explain not only to the investors but to authorities as well what you do. And if, as you're the first one, it takes a bit of time to convince them that this is safe. We are not importing insects from other countries. We are using local insects. Insects are safe. They don't transmit disease. They will not escape from a factory and, create a disaster in the field. It has been studied by universities for 20, 30, 40 years already. So it's completely safe. So this first phase, I think, was a little bit challenging, but it's completely normal, where you really have to educate a little bit your stakeholders, including authorities. But after that, it really became like a really strength of us being the first one here. And then, yeah, this is also how we managed to convince some investor to invest in our company, to build a couple of factories here in Vietnam. So, yeah, challenge at the beginning, but in the end, a strength being a first to do that in Vietnam.
Vietnam is not only attracting small startups but also large international businesses. Over 10 years ago, Entobel co-founder Alex Carters chose Vietnam to launch his bold idea, producing animal feed from insects. Today, Entobel is a leading biotech company with Asia's largest insect factory based in Ho Chi Minh City. It serves the global market with a focus on green development. With an open-door policy, support from the government, and a positive living environment, Entobel has firmly taken root in Vietnam to this day. So, Guillaume, you have been in Vietnam for quite a bit of time, and you've obviously seen the gradually changing economies of Vietnam. And so, has convincing your client coming over to Vietnam has been an easier job for you through time?
Yeah, definitely. I think Vietnam 10 years ago and Vietnam now has changed drastically. And that awareness has been also brought from foreigners just like myself to share information online, to also through clients. You know, it's a word of mouth journey that now I think people are way more convinced than before that Vietnam is actually the right country for them if they consider moving overseas, but as well setting up their business and then growing within Asia. So definitely now things are more easier and are going more smoothly.
Yeah, and I want to ask you, Camille, how has been, even though you've only been there for 2 years, how has been working and establishing an F&B business in Vietnam change your perspective on how to run a business, for example?
Well, absolutely. I mean, every day we learn more about entrepreneurship, challenges, overcoming them. But it's given me the want to grow more, to open other places, maybe by the sea, have more of a beach vibe, hotel maybe. It's, I feel like everything's possible here. We get a lot of help from friends, advisors, Guillaume and his wife, and it's just we've had challenges, of course, like in any startup, but not enough to make us stop. It's just keep going and growing.
Mm-hmm.
From Europe to Asia, Camille Delori and her fiancé travel through many countries looking for a place to call home. After a short visit to Vietnam in 2023, they decided to stay and start a new life here. Now, they are building a stable life through their restaurant and hotel business.
Hello, welcome to Satsuma House. Because we do music and coffee.
So we have a great team. We have 16 employees in the restaurants who are young. Most of them are students. So it's really great to see how they evolve with us as well. They've been with us for most of them for more than a year at the restaurants. So it's really nice to learn more about them, about their studies, and to see them grow as the business grows. So the team is very, very important.
There are still challenges ahead, but with the help from local experts and communities, Camille has found stability and plans to grow further in Vietnam.
What about you, Alex? Do you feel your perspective on business change when you're coming over to Vietnam? Do you feel like doing business here has a different sets of rules, or kind of like how you approach business?
If Vietnam changed, I will say yes, drastically, as mentioned. So I came here 12 years ago, and I think business environment is completely different from 12 years ago. Not only business environment, but the whole city, the whole country. So that's something really amazing to be here and live this change. And from a business perspective, I think this has benefited us enormously. Because all those increased investment flows coming to Vietnam, new investment funds looking at Vietnam as a target for investment. And so I think, we are here in Vietnam in the right spot. That's the right moment for Vietnam to shine at the moment. With what's going on also on the geopolitical scene, I think this will in the end benefit Vietnam as well. So I'm really happy to be here in Vietnam.
Yeah, to all of your friends who, kind of making fun of you for coming over to Vietnam, do you have anything to say to them? Like, I told you so.
I told you so. I mean, I don't even say it. They came, not they came to visit me. They understand why I'm here. They love it. So that has changed. They don't think I'm crazy anymore.
The knee slapping's like, could have been there.
Yeah, exactly.
More and more expat families are choosing to live in Vietnam because it offers an affordable cost of living, a family-friendly lifestyle, growing job opportunities, and access to good international schools. These factors make Vietnam an attractive place, not just to visit, but to settle down and build a fulfilling life. An American family in Vietnam shared that living costs are about 1/3 of those in the US. Motorbike transport costs $450 per month compared to $800 per person for cars in Boston. Only rent and school fees are similar. Their children enjoy regular activities and the family has fully embraced a local culture.
I know for you, Guillaume, and for you, Alex, you coming over to Vietnam with the sole purpose to open a business or to run a business or to settle here somewhat. And then you came here and finally decided to have a family. And so how does having that decision in your mind change the priority and the aspects of Vietnam that you find, most necessary to start a family here?
I think when I first arrived here, what I like on a day-to-day basis was being in the middle on a very local district in a small ham. I had karaoke music sometime around myself, but it was the vibe that I appreciate at this time. Local food, street food a lot, partying obviously, and then obviously after you build a family, your priority changes. Of course. So work is very important, of course, to bring stability to the family. And after that, you choose an environment that is also suitable for your wife and your kid. So now, obviously, I'm next to the school of my daughter, and then the environment is also safe. It's easy to find anything you need in a couple of minutes by motorbike. So that has been the transformation and the change. But I think anyone would have to go to the same changing from as soon as someone else is part of your family.
So I really want to ask you, Alex, about the quality of education in Ho Chi Minh City, because you're currently having a kid that is 3 years old. So do you have any certain criteria when approaching or choosing a school for your kids here?
I knew nothing about international schools in Vietnam just a couple of years ago, but I had to explore, investigate, and I was quite surprised to see that there are actually quite a lot of international schools, even only French schools, because I put my daughter in a French-speaking school, and you have really a lot of choices. So that's great, and the quality of education is pretty good as well. There is nothing. You can find similar quality here than what you can find in Europe. So it's really great, and a lot of options in pretty much all districts of the city. It's great.
So what about the communities? Do you think the people here and the communities, expat and Vietnamese included, is going to be a suitable environment for your kids to develop their social aspect?
Yeah, you have a pretty big expat community here in Ho Chi Minh City. Europeans, but also other Asian, from other Asian countries, Americans, Australians. And that really, I think it's a very interesting community. You can meet a lot of different people from all over the world. And also my daughter, she also meets kids from pretty much all over the world. We get to meet the parents, and it's pretty interesting and something you will never experience. If I was staying in my home country in Belgium, we'll never experience that. So that's really great.
I think the education environment here in Ho Chi Minh City especially is better than in France for the well-being and then the growing development of kids. I say better because here you have the melting pots of different families from different backgrounds, from different stories. And my daughter, she's 2.5 years old. Right now she can speak French, Vietnamese, and she can start to speak English already.
Oh wow!
So imagine
trilingual. I'm a triple threat.
So, and I see when I'm going in the garden of the school, I see kids that can start a conversation in French. They can immediately switch to English, and right after that to Vietnamese in less than 10 seconds.
That is really insane, huh?
And I think and as Alex said earlier, I think in France, in Belgium, that's not the type of schools that we have. So here, bringing to those kids at such early age that opportunity to grow and to really be emerged will be definitely strong advantage for the future.
So for you, Camille, very different from Guillaume and Alex here. You came here with your fiance. So do you plan to start a family here? And if yes, what aspects of Vietnam kind of push you to that decision?
So we got engaged in Phu Quoc, which is beautiful, very stereotypical, proposals, sunset, everything's beautiful. Definitely the plan is to, bring up a family here.
What are some of the aspects about Vietnam that help reinforce this decision of you to start a family here? Say, like I've asked before, the education, environment, the community aspects of Vietnam?
Safety is a big thing. Europe has beautiful places, but there are some cities that are sometimes you don't want to let, even me, sometimes I'm afraid in London, in certain neighborhoods, to walk down the street after a party alone. I've never had any fear of any whatsoever here in Vietnam, which is a strong, factor for bringing up a family. The cultural diversity, it's a gift of giving children this experience of being, far from our roots and being able to develop, as you said, multiple languages, culture. Their brains must be like extraordinary.
Yes.
And I guess the weather, because you only need t-shirts and shorts. You don't need jumpers, gloves.
In Ho Chi Minh City, yeah.
Yes, I guess from the north is different. But yeah, I bet that's easy for kids. I don't know what you think, but...
Yeah. So, Guillaume, obviously, Camille has a little bit of concern about, not having, kind of a support system here, especially far away from your family. Do you have any tips for her?
Yeah, no, to be honest, it can be a difficult matter to tackle. We are reading a lot on the family-in-law, so of course we see the grandmother and then the grandparents very often, just because we are also very busy on the work aspect. So without family here or people that you trust, it may be difficult. Of course, you can rely on nannies, but you will need to be able to adjust your own schedule to cope with that.
Yeah. And speaking of nannies, one of the factors that came in with a lot of expats coming over to Vietnam, because we have data on this, one of the top things that attracting a lot of foreigners coming to Vietnam for various reasons, tourism, settling, whatever, is affordability. What do you have to say on this?
Yeah, definitely in Vietnam, you can access to people that can be really good help to support your family cost-wise.
Yes.
You can easily get a nanny for probably 6 million to 10 million per month. If you want to get the same thing in Europe, it's going to cost you probably double. Kindergarten school is the same. In Europe, it's quite crowded to be able to get your kids fitting inside one kindergarten. So you need to have private nannies in Europe to take care of your child. So here, obviously, education is costly, right? We are not saying everything is cheap, but it's still more accessible, and it makes the entire thing more easy, especially when we are busy people like us.
Right. What about you, Alex? Do you find, after a period of time living here, do you find affordability something attractive to you?
No, it's very, very attractive. It makes your life much more comfortable. Simply, for example, the fact that you can eat out or order food pretty much any day of the week. That's something you won't be able to do in Europe unless you're ready to spend a lot of money. So here in Vietnam, you have restaurants pretty much everywhere across the streets. So that helps a lot. Transportation is very cheap. You can take a taxi or a Grab for a couple of dollars. You don't do that in Europe. And also services, as mentioned, the nannies, any kind of helpers. It's much more affordable in Vietnam. Not everything is affordable. Real estate is still a bit expensive, or like similar prices as in Europe, but everything like services, food is much more affordable. Tourism as well, you can travel within the country without spending too much money. So that really makes your life much more comfortable and exciting.
Yeah. So how much did affordability factors into having the comfort of having a family here in Vietnam for you, Alex?
Yeah, quite a lot, because I'm not a big cooker. I don't love cooking that much. My wife the same. So we're happy that we don't have to cook every day. So yeah, it's a big factor, and the helpers, and yeah, for sure.
So Camille, after hearing all that, do you find a certain ease when it comes to having kids here?
Yes, absolutely. I'm not worried. It's going to be fun.
Yes.
It's true that having the help of nannies, and I feel like Vietnamese women are very maternal and very caring. So knowing that there'll be help on that front is very reassuring.
Obviously, you have had a lot of clients that are moving the entirety of their family here. Already very established families with kids coming over to Vietnam. What are some of their major concerns and how has Vietnam kind of helped ease that concerns over the years?
So as we are in the education topic, I've seen a trend from families that were used to be living in Singapore, in Hong Kong, in China mainly, considering Vietnam as the next destination. We just talk about affordability and just comparing international schools, there is a factor, maybe there is 30% lower in the cost of education in Vietnam when you put your kids in an international school compared to Shanghai, compared to Singapore. So that's one of the factors. And when we count the ease of coming here, settling, renting apartments, it makes the entire picture easier. So for someone who is, for instance, a sales representative who have to travel a lot within Asia to support a European business, having their base in Ho Chi Minh City, for instance, then can get ease of access to international school, good hospitals. They can have their family safe here, living in Vietnam, while they can be overseas traveling, but they can rely on a good environment to have their own family here.
Vietnam is not only a country of rich culture, affordable living, and friendly people. Today, it's also emerging as an open lab for new tech ideas with 10 fast-growing industries: food tech, green tech, circular economy, AI and large language models, fintech, health tech, edtech, semiconductors, agritech, smart tourism. These industries are not just attracting investment, they are creating the perfect launchpad for global startups to test, adapt, and scale in Southeast Asia. Guillaume, what are some of the industries that you think are up and coming and rising in Vietnam that is going to be most attractive to foreigners that are coming over to Vietnam to find the opportunities for themselves?
We are not specialized in tech, but I do have a lot of people in my network who are assisting or who just benefit from that trend of tech talents that are now sourced in Vietnam. So company probably used to be working more with Eastern Europe before, and now they will set up their team in Vietnam. But for my own clients, I saw a shift into most of my clientele who were before doing business with China. So they used to be working a lot with Chinese manufacturers. And for the last 5 to 6 years, there has been that shift into diversifying the supply chain. Yes. And Vietnam right now is probably one of the best countries to tap and to take over that diversification. Yes.
And Camille, how has Ho Chi Minh City's food trend and people has informed your decision to open a restaurant here, and how do you think it's going to develop in the future?
So I think the potential is huge given the growing middle class. There's a huge influx of consumer spending. People are getting richer and richer and they want to spend the money, have new experiences. And you know, our restaurant has South of France vibes, Saint-Tropez inspiration, and my grandparents were in the south of France, so I grew up partying on the beach clubs of Saint-Tropez, which is just, it's glorious atmosphere, and we try to bring that energy through our Satsuma House restaurant. So I think the F&B scene, it's highly competitive. So it's an industry where you've got to be ready to go up and down with economic cycles because it impacts the restaurant industry directly. So we're like the ear to the market because we see it immediately. But I think the growth, the potential is huge for expanding, for creating a strong identity where the locals and the expats can identify with our restaurant, and if when we open other locations, they can find Satsuma House Da Nang and have the same experience as they have in Saigon. So that's the aim.
So for people who are considering and who are pondering coming over to Vietnam to maybe start a business or start a family or maybe just settling down, what would you say to convince them?
It's a great country for entrepreneur. Very easy to do business. You have a lot of freedom. It's an affordable country. Weather is nice, you have a lot to discover within the country. So the cuisine is amazing. And on top of that, Vietnamese people are extremely welcoming, extremely friendly. They love they are very curious, they want to get to know you. So it's an amazing place to be.
Right, what about you, Camille?
I mean, I have nothing to add. You hit all the points. Yeah. But I find that the Vietnamese education is quite, fascinating as well, because in the middle of, nowhere, in the middle of the country, when I say I'm from Nước Bỉ, and everyone says, oh, Lukaku, Kevin De Bruyne, they know all the football players, and and our culture, and it's really touching to think that we're such a small country, but there's the real curiosity, as you said, about and the openness, welcoming us, and it's. Alex said all the good points, the safety and
So for every expat to come, they're going to experience all of that curiosity and feeling the opportunity to open more to people, because here people love to ask questions.
Yes.
Yes, Guillaume would be a testament to that.
To your nose.
What about you? How would you sell, this is your job to sell Vietnamese to other people, to your international friends, but what would you say are some of the pointers?
Now we just say, come, try, and then you will stay. No, but to be honest, I think it's one of the fast-growing countries. So I think for people who have the same mindset as ours, you should dedicate probably a year. If you are attracted by Asia, you should come here, and then try to give yourself 3 months to explore the country. Give yourself 6 months to try to, with a probably co-founder. You don't need to be alone. Try something here. And just because you have this good soil, I would say, who encourage entrepreneurs. Like I have so many Vietnamese friends on the side. They are going to coffee shops to try to have a side job, bootstrap something. So I feel that's really a community that is elevating each other in that sense of trying things, because you don't have all the social security that we have in Europe. It's going in the good direction. I know Vietnam is really taking that path into bringing free education for everyone. I know they announced free healthcare now, but still the Vietnamese are pro-entrepreneurship, and I think for people like us, it pushes a bit.
Right. Thank you so much, Guillaume, Camille, and Alexandre, for coming over to share your stories and your experiences with Vietnam in regards to your family life and your business life. And I think that this information is going to help a lot of expats and a lot of foreigners entertaining the idea of coming over to Vietnam to have a bigger picture on what to expect. And to all the foreigners who are watching through the small screen, I hope that this conversation has been really helpful to you to think about what could your life possibly be unfolding in Vietnam. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye.